In the watch world of 2023, it seems like all the watch companies are doing the exact same thing. We're talking about minimal design changes to both the cases, the movements, even maybe the dial, with no real unique qualities about the watches. It's really just the same old, same old. This becomes a replicating, mundane watch that is pushed out to the public year after year after year. And honestly, it's kind of getting old. I'm talking to you, Rolex. In the world of the boring watch, it's really nice to see a brand, especially a micro brand, really reach out and do something different. I think that's where micro brands really have a upper foothold when it comes to the watch community, because they have no problem doing something daring. When you have a multi-billion-dollar corporation like Omega or Rolex or AP or even Patek Philippe, these companies are afraid to do something different. Yes, I say afraid to do something different because it's gonna affect their bottom line. What I love about micro brands is they're not afraid to bring a uniqueness to the watch community, to the watch world at large. Today, we're talking about the Olto 8 Infinity 2. This is the second watch I have reviewed from this company, and the first watch was the Olto 8 Iron. This was a Jeep-inspired watch. I will leave a card right here, and that was a pretty cool watch. That was a Bell & Ross inspired. They don't say that, but if you look at the case shape, it does look like a Bell & Ross inspired watch. But overall, the thing had a lot of quality, had a lot of good pros, not many cons. So when they offered me the ability to look at the Infinity 2, I said, hell yeah, another cool watch from Olto 8. I'll absolutely look at this watch, but I'll give you guys my honest review, the pros and cons at the end of the video. With these style watches that are extreme in their unique design, it's really a double-edged sword. You either love it or you hate it. This watch is racing inspired with a case shape that softly resembles an octagonal shape, with smoother corners and free of any lugs. The size is measured at 44 millimeters squared, with a case thickness of 12.8 millimeters and a lug width of 22 millimeters. The total weight of this watch is 124 grams. The rubber strap is very comfortable, with a standard buckle and tang for the clasp. The dial is definitely racing inspired, with what looks like a speedometer across the top half of the watch. The crown is at the standard 4 o'clock position, with a dial that is like none other that I've seen. The dial uses a 5-layer layout that indicates hours in the upper index, minutes in the whole outer circle index of the entire dial, and then seconds in the lower index. Combined with a multi-hand system, the hour hand is set in twos in a 180-degree arrangement. The minute hand is a single minute hand with a special triangle shape, and the second hand is a 3-handed second hand in a 120-degree layout. The watch is powered by a Miyota 82 S5 21 joule automatic movement with a beat rate of 21,600 vibrations per hour. It has a power reserve of 42 hours, which is great. The movement is slightly under-decorated, but it does have a custom rotor on the back. Due to the slightly skeletonized dial, I understand the open case back, but I personally would have done a solid case back or a case back that is open but with printing on the back to sort of give a different inspiration, right? There are some watches I've reviewed on this channel that have an open case back, but they've done a painting on the open case back so you can still see it through the skeleton dial, but the movement is slightly hidden through the painting or design on that open case back. You can still see the rotor, you can still see some of the movements, but when you have a non-decorated movement or a movement that's not highly decorated, it's just kind of boring to look at, in my opinion. The case is black. As what material the coating is, I assume at this price point, it's PVD. But the case is itself solid 316L stainless steel, which of course is the industrial standard. The crystal covering the dial is sapphire, which is almost a given at any price point in the watch world at this time. Now, if you look at the watch on my 7¼ inch wrist, it fits very well. The reason it fits very well is because the lug to lug is just the case size. You can see this has no lugs really on the case. It's recessed underneath the case, which means that it fits on your wrist a lot smaller than the actual case diameter, which is 44 millimeters. So it actually wears like a much smaller watch. Especially with that octagonal case shape, it does sit prominently on the center of your wrist, but it really does give a really good visual line of sight when it comes to telling the time. Some people don't like the skeletonized dial because they think that it's more difficult to read. Once you understand how to read the dial, this is actually one of the easiest dials to read, minus the wandering hour movement of the Out-of-Whack that I reviewed not that long ago. One of the things I really love about the watch is the red accented rubber strap with the red accents in the dial itself. I really love when a company takes into account certain styling aesthetics, especially when it comes to race-inspired watches. Last thing you want is a company to slap something together and then throw some random strap on it and not have any forethought about the design itself. This we see in a lot of watches, especially from micro brands. It looks like they put a lot of thought and a lot of effort into the actual watch design when it comes to both the strap, the case, the dial, and yes, the dial is extremely unique. And I can tell you, it's not for everybody. In fact, when I first looked at this watch, I thought, I'm not really sure how I feel about the dial. Then I wore it for a long period of time, and I really do enjoy telling the time and looking at the dial. It's completely different, and it's eye-catching. A lot of people look down at my wrist, and they say, "What's that on your wrist? That's pretty interesting." And I say, yeah, it's a racing inspired watch. They look out at my car and they see that I have like a muscle car. And if there's anything about watch people in the watch community, they also love, especially the technical guys of watches, love cars also. That's going to be a video I do in the future because that's absolutely true. People who are watch people are also car people, and a lot of that has to do with the technical specs of a car, like technical specs of a watch. I can tell you that I love the specs of this watch. The only thing that I wish they did was more decorate the back of the movement, but that's not really a fault on them, right? They want to keep the costs down, and they want to make sure they're able to provide you an affordable alternative to the watches already out there on the market. Now, the lume on this watch, I think is pretty great. It is a Swiss Luminova, and it really does shine very, very brightly. Now, it's hard to show here on the desk just how brightly it is, but I can tell you that if it's sunny outside and you walk inside, it's going to shine on your wrist like a flashlight, and it looks pretty awesome. Now, overall, I told you in the beginning, this is a double-edged sword. You either love it or you hate it. Now, what do you guys think? Do you love it or do you hate it? Leave a comment down below. I'd really love to hear your guys' opinion on this watch. Also, show Alto 8 some love and leave a comment. Check out their link down below. They have a lot of cool watches, a lot of unique watches. If this isn't the watch for you, check out one of their other watches. You're going to find something you're going to love. You're going to find a great product at a great price. Now, if you like videos like this, hit that subscribe button down below. Leave a comment of the content you guys would like to see on this channel. Remember, guys, a lot of the watches I review, I sell down below at a discount on the link that says watches I've reviewed for sale. If you're interested in a lot of different watches that I review on this channel, especially a lot of watches that I've purchased, I got to turn around and sell them so I can get money for more watches in the future. A lot of them are at heavy discounts. Check out that link. Don't forget chase straps down below, where I sell one of the highest quality watch straps on the market at a very, very affordable price. I'm doing a video in the future where I show a Bark and Jack strap, my strap, and an alternative to those two straps, and I compare each and every one, breaking down not only the materials, but the build quality of each strap, especially now that I know how to build my own straps. Now, make sure you guys are hitting that notification bell so you can be notified when I drop all of these videos. Till next time.